there? Wait, let me see. I show levels there. Do I have audio? Hey, thanks, Joe. Crazy. I don't know what I did there. I do have a Stream Deck here. And it doesn't, there is an outro sequence. Maybe I bumped it. Did you guys see the outro sequence? Sweet, okay. Was there the outro sequence? You did see the outro sequence. Ah, okay, well there you go. I must have bumped it with my hand. That's funny, I didn't hear that, but I think all that stuff's turned off for me. Although I thought we heard the music. Who knows? Anyway, sorry about that. It was a short stream. The interesting thing is that it actually ended the stream on the Synology. I mean on the, not the Synology, on the vMix machine, which is very odd. Scott's messaged me too. Anyway, I think that outro sequence is maybe in the wrong spot. Hey, there we go. There's a follow. Thank you, Mini Sportados. Sparatodos. Thank you so much for the follow. I think we're back. Yeah, it's like, I think I hit, so on the Stream Deck there's an outro sequence, and I think I picked up my phone because I was getting, except that was Michael, so maybe it was when Derek messaged me. Who knows? I guess we got it going. So I am now back to this blue one. I was trying to smooth out this part here that I had a little bit of the contrast paint settled on it. And it's okay, right? I don't really want to stress about it too much, but this is why I like using thin versions of to start with, of the contrast paints. I mean, it's, you can build it up and it does a pretty good job, and it still gives you the contrast stuff. Now notice it's taking a while to dry today. We are going to have rain. It says 100% chance. I don't know how much rain that is. That looks like it's actually pretty dry. So now we can go on to the red, continue to the red on that one. I'm terrible at building anticipation, right? Hey, Derek, if you're there, I think I hit the outro sequence on the bottom of the Stream Deck. My phone is nearby, which is a mistake. Let me move it over here. I don't know whether it was your message that did it to me, or, I mean, it's me for sure. So let's start putting on some of this red and see. Ooh, that's pretty strong red. Well, let's go for it. Different one. Wow, that's really strong. And it's thinned out pretty very much. It is a, which one did I use? Blood Angels Red, which is, I think, a very good red. But we'll see. You can't, oh, I didn't cut down. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. It's all a mess today. I was already on the painting and I forgot about it not being available when I went off. Messages. I'm definitely going to want to put a little bit of coat of the thinnest on top of that yellow, I think. I really do want it to be a little bit more orange. No, I haven't really tried. Wow, is that a hair going? Yep. This brush is getting tired. Ugh, that's going to be a problem. Yeah. It's really curved away. I wonder what happened there. Do I have scissors here? I do not. Why don't I have scissors? Okay, let's see here. Boy, that's crazy. There we go. Trimmed it off. It's very strange that it did that. I'm pretty good about... Now, here's what would probably happen, is I am poking things with this brush, even though I'm trying not to use it too much to do that. You know, pushing it into the recesses, and that can be a problem, because it'll definitely cause a curve to your bristles very quickly. Now, these shouldn't have been one hair like that, but who knows. Has anybody been working on any good projects? Hey, Opal, how you doing? Ghost of the Machine. No, it was all me. Well, it's all me, just clumsiness. Anybody working on any great projects? I have really kind of need to get back to the, Marvel United, because there is another campaign coming. I bet it's... feel like... I don't remember when the last one was. What time of the year? I think it was like February or March, if I can recall correctly. And I was not really wanting to back them, but I mean, of course, I've already put a lot into it, but they already showed one of the minis, and I'm like, oh, I want that. So we'll see how in deep I go on it, but I'm definitely a fan of it. But I have, I don't know, 100 something minis of that. I don't know, it's more than that. I think there's 100 minis per, or nearly 100 minis per set. That's the main one plus the X-Men one. And I've only painted 50 or 60. So I got a long way to go. Working on painting figures of your friend's cats. Well, I saw some that you were doing. Those would look great. Or the one you were doing. Did you 3D print those cats? Out of focus. Let me get a real thin coat. Well, let me finish this red. I'm fine with it, but I really want to cover that orange. Kind of don't want the mouth to be entirely red. I'm getting a little bit of Jurassic Park on the mind here, where I painted it purple. I think I'm going to do the same. Or Jurassic World minis. I just got it on the antlers. I really don't want it on, or the horns. Don't want it on the horns. Ceramic cat figures. Oh, that's cool. I've been working on some 3D printed stuff. I actually kind of got an idea for next year's Christmas gift for Nikki's mom. So I need to work on that. It's good to get started early, I'll tell you. I ended up running out of time with so much stuff this year. Does look like we will be streaming on... Wow, I've got red everywhere. On New Year's Eve. Nikki was asking about doing Jackbox stuff, and I know I think there's been another 2 games since we last played Jackbox. We might have played... I don't think we played 8. So we might do some of that. We might have a rematch of Spicy Dice since we messed up one of the rules, which is very clearly on the... Dave was like, I go, Dave, we missed one thing on this game. What do you think it is? And I sent him a snapshot of the rules, and he caught it. And he's like, I can't believe we missed it. So it's silly, but we do like that game. It's fun. And actually the designer of the game chimed in on YouTube, which was kind of cool. Excited that we're covering, I guess, an independent game, which it is definitely independent. It's a little hard to get. They were saying go to your game stores, but I mean, maybe you ask your game store so that they'll get it in stock, but Amazon does sell the stuff. We really like it. It's kind of hard to get the colors individually, but Amazon sells them specifically. And it is just their store. It is Ingenuity. Wow, that's too much red there. Ingenuity. So hey, thanks for the follow, Tetrashan. The thing that we messed up was when you, for example, when you do this, what do they call it? A run. If there's a red die in it, you can put that total into that red die's number instead. Say instead of 1, where the maximum you would get would be 6 times 2, 12 points. Is that correct? Yeah, 6 points for each one plus doubled. You could take it where in that run it would be 21, right? I think is the total. So you put that in the ones position. The same thing happened, which we did get that right in the video. The same thing happens with a set, meaning there are no single digits. So as long as you have at least 2 of every number in there, unless it's all the same number, then you want to put that someplace else. Then that becomes, wow, that really does look kind of pink, purpley. Then that you can do the same thing. Nikki actually had it in the game where she had a 3, and I don't know what happened with Dave there, but I mean, it's very clearly in the rules. You can see if you follow. It's weird. It's the one, because it's actually a great little rules outline, I think. And it's the one thing that kind of like let it down slightly, even though it's really there. It is not like, it should not have been missed. But anybody that gets that game, they'll see that it's very clearly on there. And we just dropped the ball. So look out for that. But we really liked that game. And the other one that we played, we did 2 episodes for kind of a Christmas thing there too, was Dice Cup, which is great. You think, oh my gosh, what is this game? But it's really fun, and some people were playing along, I guess, rolling the dice and seeing what they got, or not rolling the dice, seeing what they saw in the 30s, the 3 seconds that you get to see the dice. We played that at the SDJ dinner at the Spiel in Germany in October, and we immediately decided we needed to go out and buy that game. But yeah, it was fun. That looks a little bit better on the chest, but it's still kind of like blotches of red here that I don't want. Although it's very hard to get rid of it, I think. Because you still want the red there. Wow, that music kind of sounded like Age of Kings to me. So I'm doing a little bit of blending here between them, right? They're both wet. So I'm hoping, I don't think you're going to have yellow there. Probably should let that dry. So I'm probably going to want to touch up that red. Hey, Nikki's here. Hey, Nikki P. Hey, you got Hamlet. Awesome. Scott, I think, just received his as well. I have not. We only saw it at Spiel. We didn't play it at. We did. I think we had copies at BGG Con. We didn't get to play it. Looks cute. Looks cool though. Looks cute. Said cute, but cool. Got a little spot there I missed on the tail somehow. The tiniest little sliver of red, of white that was still left. Okay, well, let's let that dry so we can build it up some more. I want more, definitely more red on the scales. Boy, it really is settling in here. Well, I did run it all over the place, so. I noticed we had friends out going. I did not want to shop yesterday, but they were going out and getting the big deals that they had at. I think it's happening today too at Barnes and Noble. We went out, and we didn't want to go shopping, but we went into where people were shopping, and it was very too much for us. So we ended up going. We were going to go have lunch, so we ended up going to our taqueria, local taqueria that we had. We don't go to as much as we used to because it's kind of crazy on the weekends when we would go, and we really love that place. Going there for years, but it was nice to go. I guess that's dry enough that I can do that. You started painting. Excited to see your techniques. Oh, awesome, Linnaeus. I love using the contrast paints. I love doing this zenithal highlighting. Where this one's pretty bright, but you can see it's darker underneath. Where I've painted these, I airbrushed them. You can do them with rattle cans. You can also paint them and dry brush them to do it. But you paint the entire miniature black, then you go around and you spray. If you're going to spray it, well, this is airbrush. So in the airbrush version, I paint it black, then I paint the gray at a 45-degree angle, then I paint white directly from above. If you were to spray can it, you just paint the whole thing black, then you paint white from above, because it's kind of silly to try to spray the gray as well. And you do it directly straight down. You're going to have a little bit more extreme transitions, which is fantastic depending on what you're doing. I mean, it's just great anyway. I like the darker stuff too. These are especially soft, so I wanted them to be a little bit more subtle, but there's definitely some darkness, like it's very dark under here. And you can also do it with dry brushing. What you do is you paint the whole miniature black, and then you use a brush. This is a makeup brush from e.l.f. It's like a $5 brush, $4 brush. And you just put the tiniest amount of paint on the brush, and then you basically wipe it all off on a napkin till there's basically nothing left, and then you dry brush. It literally is very dry. You put the white over it, and then just pulling it down from the top so that it's brighter at the top. You just keep working it all the way around. And I did that for one of the Jurassic World minis to show how it's done. I did the whole thing on. I painted it black, I think, prior to the stream, but then painted the dry brushed the whole thing, and it turned out really neat. It's a different kind of technique that looks really, really good. And I think both of the, any of these techniques to do this, where you then just put the contrast paint over it to get, which is very thin. I'm actually doing a very thin version of it, not the straight red, and I'm just going to build it up. It's great because it's a very quick process. I literally did both of these miniatures last week in about 2.5 hours time. Less than that actually, because I was yammering at the beginning. And they turned out great. There's very It's a very simple process. Makes them look like you've put a lot more effort into it than you actually have. But it's a great skill. Yep, it's true. I had put the tiniest amount on the brush though, so it does. Crypt Kid is saying that you're wasting your paint on the towel. It is true. It definitely gets tons of it on a napkin, and you literally get it down to just nothing. It's crazy, but it works. It's really, really fantastic. Okay, that's too thick. Goodness, it just keeps dripping down there. And that's there. I don't think I can fit. Well, it's fixed a little bit. So it kept draining. These are very thinned out. And I have them on a wet palette, which is probably making them a little damper than they really should be. And they'll just keep settling. I mean, that's what's great about these paints is you want them to settle, but kind of want to do it a little bit different. I think I'm going to build that back up since I just pulled it all off and it didn't really do it. The belly looks a little better now with that. Goodness gracious. I think I need a... Boy, that really is not doing too good. I gotta let it dry, and then I could probably help resolve it. Okay, next color, or next miniature, just so I can let that dry and build it up. Although it looks good, it's not that bad. I'm just, using two colors is a little bit more of a challenge. It's not hard, but it's a little bit of a challenge, and you want to try to blend them as well as you can. And the best way to do that really is to have them, it's called wet blending, and this paint is very good at it because it stays wet for a long time. You can blend the two colors together and then overlap them to build that up. So we did the same exit advent as you guys did, and after we finished, I watched your series, and we actually accidentally solved day 12 the same way. Wow! Interesting. It's funny that actually even worked. So everybody feels that they must have done that on purpose. We were shocked when we looked it up. We actually had one other problem too, and Dave was I think he was trying to signal me. Like, we ended up solving one there was one clue where you're counting things, and we never found the other one, and Dave said try one. Because, he makes puzzles, and he knew what the deal was, is like, it's probably only one instance in the game, and we should have found it on camera. We literally found it like right after that I'm always in a rush to try to get onto the next thing because we need to film so much stuff usually, and those were crazy because we had 24 of them to film. We actually should have done it on camera. It was a mistake, but it was fun. We really liked that one. It's exciting that you actually had the same kind of resolution. So, I am now going to do this very pale blue dragon, and I'm trying to decide Briar Queen Chill. That might be the one. Let's see what the color looks like on the bottom. I've already mounted it. Oh no, I agree. The actual solution is so much better. So that's not too bad. What's this one here? No, it's too dark. Although this one may be too light, but we'll see. This one's the one that I was looking at on BGG had a very cute multicolor thing going on it that was really nice, which may be a good idea. I kind of want to go through and pick out some of the scales on some of these with a different color, a slightly different color. Not necessarily, maybe in the same family, like another red or whatever, another blue. Although I don't know. I mean, I think I think these end up looking really good as they are, so I don't know, because the scales look, there is some color difference. Wow, it's not really focusing. Come on, focus. Wow, does it always need a hand? It seems like it always needs a hand in there to get it. But yeah, the scales actually have kind of a different, because of the shading and then the ink, or it's not ink, it's contrast. Kind of making a mess here today. I don't know what's going on. I have a vortex mixer over here and it gets noisy sometimes. Yeah, I agree with you, Linnaeus. We want people to play that one. It's hard to get right now. I'm sure it'll be available again. We're going to try to get, I think there'll be 2 available next year. We're going to try to buy them both. I don't know that we'll do them both next year for Christmas. We'll probably just do this year's, which is actually, by that time will be 2 years old. It's 1 year old in German. The people from Cosmos, Thames and Cosmos in the UK, I guess it really is not Thames, they were watching them, and they said that there was one that we did that you use the cards, the backs of the cards for something, and they said that was a hard one to translate, which is what I was saying when we were doing it, and Aaron's like, oh, they'll figure it out, and I mean, obviously they did do it. But the other way, right? Obviously the German one was first. I just put another one of those agitator balls in. I always put one in when I open a new bottle of paint. Wow, that is not really the right blue. Let's just see. Let me see. I don't know. The other ones are so bright. I think I'll go with it. It'll be fine. Oh, this song sounds a little bit like Maurice Jarre. Or no, Jean-Michel. Maurice is dead. But yeah, we want to get them because, and you know, my suggestion is to order them in as soon as they're available, probably August or September, because I think we bought ours at the end of September. It showed up in October. Any of that kind of stuff just sells out, and I don't think the publishers plan on reprinting that quickly, right? The next print run will be for next year, but I think those are doing really well, and a lot of people were solving them. Derek actually did that box we did, because he was doing it. I didn't want to spoil it for him, and I'm like, I'm going to need your help to edit these, and I ended up editing a lot of them because I didn't want to. I had other things I needed him to edit and stuff like that, but he ended up doing the second one, the Search for the Golden Book, and I also edited the one we did on Christmas Day because I thought he might want to. You know, he loves doing those kinds of puzzles. I didn't want to spoil it for him, so I did that one as well, and that was some work because it's longer, and there was one technical issue we had with the so it's a web-based app to do that one. It was the Kringle Caper, and it wasn't a big deal, but we were confused, and so we just reset it and then paused to give it to like some of the spent time that we had and everything. Thanks for the follow, Chris Cotta 89. I'm working on the minis for Flamecraft, which is really a really cute game that just came out from Cardboard Alchemy. I think it's their first released game. I think they did a great job on it. The other thing they did on this one, I think that was cute, the person on PGG, they put like a darker blue color on the wings for this one. I thought that looked neat. And I may lift that. I mean, you know, it looks like they were looking at the game box for their inspiration, which I agree with all that. Oops, that's the wrong color. It's another bluish color, but it's not the right one. But my goal is to try to get all of these done today. I don't know if you heard, if you're on there still, Nikki P, but Aaron, if he's coming today, it's going to be much later. I did not want to wake her up this morning. She seemed to be happily sleeping, and I always wake up when I have these things to do because I'm thinking about everything. I'm like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And then I saw Aaron's, I think he sent that email last night that he was having a scheduling issue, so I'm like, oh, shucks. Because we were hoping to do a longer game, but I don't want to start a longer game in the evening because it'll be just too late and we'll be already, I mean, especially since I woke up at such an early time, it would be the worst. Although if you, I mean, you could see, we've done some videos where it's been a long day of filming and then tired people playing the game. We did, one example of that was we did, what was that game? We did, oh, Abomination. Oh, poor Rusty on that one too. He taught both those games that day, and they went really long. We shot both that and Tapestry on the same day, and they're not really that long of games, but when you're filming, things take longer. It's just no matter what you do, and rewinding and catching things. You know, we're trying not to make mistakes. I mean, we're definitely going to make mistakes playing a game because not everybody's going to play optimally. I don't think we make a true mistake. So yeah, that was just too long, two like 4 or 5 hour plays. And it's always way more challenging. We actually have, this week's episode was a long film as well. That was with, hey, thanks for the follow, Waylander Tone. This week's episode, I mean, pretty surely, Derek, that was what he was messaging me when I ended the stream. We played Clank Catacombs, and it took about 4 hours to film, which, you know, that game's not a 4-hour game. It can be long. I mean, it was long still. It wasn't like a super short. And, you know, it was new, even though we'd all, well, not everybody, maybe Gabby had never played any Clank. But Deborah loves Clank, and so she was knowledgeable, of course, about it. She taught the game. Wait till you see that. Well, it's very pale. You can see it, though, more on camera. The blue is there. Interesting. I'll put a darker version of it on there. I just didn't want to go too crazy because I really don't know this color. Another brand new color to me. Nikki did not hear what I said. Oh, she did not hear that. Okay. Yeah, that's what she's talking about. She didn't hear me. She did not hear that we had that we're going to have a later start if we film today. We'll see. We may film next week. He doesn't have a ton of availability. We were going to. Originally, the plan was to film tomorrow, but that didn't happen. Thanks, Seth G. Stewart, though, for calling that to my attention. Okay, that one's drying. And I think we got it all on there. It's very hard to tell. It's so pale. But I'll build it up. I'm going to build it up. Well, let's move to the first one I painted today. That one should be totally dry. So this one has leaves and things on it. It really is cute. So I started out with a darker green because I wanted it to be more, even deeper on the leaves and the scales. I think the scales are sort of leaves. It is, they're leaves, which is fantastic. Boy, I keep getting the weirdest notifications on stuff. eBay has like gotten aggressive. I was looking at stuff because we were needing some replacement for some tech, and anything I looked at. Also, I got wrapped up. Last week I was looking at stuff that they used for Andor, you know, for the set decoration, which I just love that stuff when they, because, you know, they're digging out of, trying to use as many found objects that they can modify as possible. And that one was filmed in the UK, so they had some really neat stuff and some things I knew. That was what actually led me down that path, because we were watching the movie and I'm like, hey Nikki, look at that. I don't want to spoil, or the TV show, and I don't want to spoil anything because it was great, but it's not something that you would necessarily know, but we actually have 4 of those objects in our house. And so that led me down a rabbit hole of other shows that have used that same object, and it was great. So all those things are now, I searched some of that stuff on eBay just to see like when they were made and things like that, and so now I'm getting reminders about if I want to buy those things. No. The ones we had I did not look up. I've actually purchased stuff on those on eBay, I think. Maybe we got one for Scott. Thermal detonators, that'd be fun. Topical historical geography, okay. So what I'm probably going to do on this is build up and then put some other greens so that the leaves will be multiple colors of green. That was why I wanted the base to be as green as it is. We'll see how that goes. You should see how thinned out this color is from the real green. Here's the green that I'm using, and I've thinned it a lot with the contrast medium. Sounds like I have put a bead in there. I probably did. I try to remember to put those glass agitator beads in when I open a bottle. Monument Hobbies puts the agitator beads in each bottle, and I think Reaper does, maybe, if I recall correctly. Maybe that was Ral Partha, I can't remember. I don't even know if Ral Partha exists anymore. The ones back in the day, it might have been Ral Partha or Reaper. They used to put little white metal skulls in it, which was the best. This is going to be some building up here. I'm having a problem getting underneath this antler here. Now, if you can't really see it, you don't have to sweat it. It's not like it's going to be visible to others if they're, you know, unless they're really inspecting the Mini, and most people won't be doing that. I don't worry about too much of the underside when I do that. So this one here is, I used Griff Charger gray, which is a bluish gray. The one miniature, some of the ones that there's 2 photos on BGG. Let me see who actually did it. I can tell you. Well, maybe I can tell you. I might as well share. It was Indie32. They look like they might have been painting them with contrast paints as well, which I love, because it'll be very quick. And I love what they're doing. You know, it's like a different. Oh, what did I do here? Too big. I think that's what I'm zooming. Okay, there we go. The coins are. We don't have the coins, but the metallic coins are really nice. I noticed this horn was broken off, and they've got like a piece of. Oops, I don't know if you can see that. Looks like a little cap on it that's metallic. So I'll probably paint that like a gold or something like that. So let me mix a little bit more of this paint. Ooh, don't touch that one I just painted. Let's see how this is looking right here. It's drying pretty well. Probably do another coat of the red over the belly, very faint, and then try to blend that a little bit more. It's very cute though. Okay, yeah, this one really doesn't look like, neither of these actually look like they have that much of the paint on it, but you can see here. So I just blended that belly a little bit more, knock that down. Let's clean this brush so that it doesn't have green in it. It is such a thin version of this paint. Now I'm putting just the thin coat on it, and it's actually building it up more. Maybe I'll do that just to increase it and then go to the very darkest on the scales is what I'm thinking. Sounds like Tangerine Dream. But you can see I'm really just I'm just spreading it around. It's not like it's any kind of, this type of painting isn't really, you'll get to more detail as you get further along, and as much as you want. You don't have to go crazy with it. And I mean, there's not a ton of detail on these besides the scales and the wings and things like that, so you don't have to go crazy, and they'll still look really nice when it's all done. Now I am now putting another coat of something on here like these, and it's a very watery coat, so it takes a lot more time to do this than if you're just going to do like I did 2 layers of color on the yellow one the other day, and the purple one may be about the same. It's got a tooth visible there. I'm going to have to paint those separately in white. Put the wrong color in there. So it's not a wash. I mean, it essentially is a wash. What I'm using is contrast paints. So the one I'm using right now is this color, Griff Charger Gray, and it's a deep, deep blue gray. And what I've done is I thinned it out with this contrast medium. These are all Citadel GW colors, and you thin it out, and it makes it doesn't, you know, like a white will turn it to a pale color. I mean, this does too, but it still has the some of the intensity of the original color. And then I just keep building it up. In this case, like here, I did this. So the belly is the first coat. I might have done a little bit more after that. And then because it was so yellow, when I painted it, it was like so yellow. Then I painted the body again with a deeper version of that, so I put more color into the mix that I already had. And then that was it. And then I did these colors here with an orange on the flesh of the wings. And you know, that was pretty. I put a little bit more time in these antlers. They're kind of, I don't know if you can see them. So I painted them a gray, and then I put like white streaks to, like, you know, they actually kind of, I think those, I don't know. And then this one here, same thing. I painted it. That's the first color of the purple, the very, very faint. Then I built it up here. This might have been more than 2 coats of the purple on the scales. And then I just did, I believe this is basically 1 coat plus maybe a little bit on the blue. I just used a thicker version, you know, a less diluted version of it because I knew I wanted it to be darker. And it really does a great job because that's a very quick way to work. So is contrast medium like I think exactly, but not make it watery like a wash. Exactly. It is what they use. This is what they use to build the paint, right? So it is the body of the paint that they add the pigments to. So it's a good way to, and you know, contrast paints, you can do things like use other mediums and things like that for paints, like other brands. I don't mess around with the contrast paints because I do not know what they'll do. I should fiddle with it at some point, just see if you can try some other things. But you know, I don't want to defeat the contrast. I don't want to defeat what the contrast paint is doing. So here we go. Let's try to get a little bit more on that belly. You got to clean that brush very well. Ceylon, what's the name for what country? Sri Lanka. Ceylon, I think is what it's called. Hey. Wow, Paula. Paula's rating us with 75. Hello, everybody. What was Paula playing? I think I saw that she was playing games earlier. We're painting the minis for Flamecraft, which is pretty cool. They're very cute. And I'm trying to hurry because I want to try to use them to paint. Final Girl, awesome. Yeah, we love that one. We actually want to play that one on the show. I mean, it is a solo game, but we're going to play it with the group. Thank you so much for the follow, Praetorian XL. These are actually going pretty well. I'm having a little bit of trouble with this one here. I've decided to try to mix 2 colors, which shouldn't be too hard, but it is a little bit different with contrast paints, where I'm mixing 2 colors on the mini, not mixing 2 colors on the palette. And I've done that they actually work okay for that. But I really want to get these ready so that we can film the game. I was working on ones for Warhammer Quest. Oops, I'm going to drop that. That we want to film as well, and they were some GW models, and they're great. And so we'll do that at some point as well. But we just hoping to get stuff filmed. But I'm having fun painting the stuff too. It's nice to actually do it when they're available, and they do a nice job on them. And these are really, really cute minis. Historical geography, yes. So I'm kind of like blending two versions of this same red. I have two versions on the palette, and I want them to just not be as intense and take over the other one. It's not focusing in here. There we go. So I'm not sure about the wings. I almost feel like they need a little bit of yellow on them too. I didn't do a very good job of getting that red down there to the base. Goodness, I'm spotting little areas here. This is a lot of angles. Did I play put the same song in the playlist twice here? Certainly a possibility. These thinner coats are definitely going a little slower to dry. Don't knock it down. Got some red on there, so I'm got some off of it. 2. Which of the following is not a former name for St. Petersburg, Petrograd, Leningrad, and Stalingrad? Wow. I think Stalingrad. But what do I know? That I don't know. Although maybe Stalingrad is right. I can't remember. My cleaning thing is not rinsing out here. Too much red. Okay. Where are we at on this one? Pretty dry, and it's very faint color. So let's build it up a little bit more with a little bit more intensity for the scales. See, it almost looks like the gray we started out with. It's so thin. But you can see here, I didn't paint the antlers. There's a little bit of blue on the wing too there. Stalingrad is correct. Okay. Interesting that town had so many different names. Okay. Here we go. This color. Wow, that's kind of already settled. You do need to shake these paints up a lot, particularly some of them that have a mix of pigments. So some of them, in the newest ones, they actually have versions, single pigment paints. And single pigment is sort of important for folks that are mixing colors. For me, the issue with the single pigment paints for contrast is they don't work the same as contrasts that have different pigments going on. Hey, thanks for the follow, Jen Camp Plays Board Games. I'm painting the Flamecraft minis today. Trying to get them ready to put it on film on our show on GameNight. It's taken a little, I'm doing 4, which is a little bit more than I had done on the previous. I did the previous day, I did these 2 separately. I mean together, but just 2. I wanted to leave some of the minis unpainted so you could see them before and then I primed these other ones yesterday. So these 2 I did on last Thursday. And you know, they're pretty quickly done. They were about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours of paint time, and they turned out really cute. I still have some more to do to them. Goodness, I think I'm mixing too much here. Although I barely had enough the last time, so. So I'm actually thinning all the colors down quite a bit on these because I want the results to be a little bit more pastel. The dragon is going to be pretty red. I'm probably overdoing it, but I want this, the dragon. They're all dragons, but the red dragon. Okay. So let's see what we got. I think this is a little bit darker. So yeah, I'm using a wet palette, which helps keep the paint moist, but it could mess a little bit with the contrast paints consistency. I have generally not had too much of a problem with it. But yeah, these are essentially some sort of like an advanced type of a wash that they encourage you to do one relatively thick coat, and I generally work that way. You can see I'm just kind of slopping it on. I'm trying to do control because I'm layering over something I already painted, so I don't want to get darker blue on these other parts of the that I wanted to be pale. So that's why I started with the pale base coat of the paint. So I'm kind of doing a bit of blending with my finger to pull it back off of the paint to give it the level of blending that I want. It works okay. You don't want to wait too long with these because, well, actually any paints, but this one especially, they kind of turn into a gel a little bit before they dry. Looks pretty good. Hey, Leckle Drim, thanks for the follow. I'm painting the minis from Flamecraft from Cardboard Alchemy. So I'm trying to get them done semi-quickly. It's kind of interesting having a deadline like I have. I'm only making this for myself because we may not actually get to film it today, but I would like to be done with these today so I can film, and I usually will need to, I need to varnish them and things like that. So it's quite a bit of stuff to do on a cold day that might have some rain, which would slow things down here. Generally, the paints here in Southern California dry very quickly, normally, when I'm normally painting, but it is a little cold here. Not as cold as it's been. That's still, when it's cold, there's less moisture in the air, so it should dry quicker, but there is moisture in the air for rain. We'll see. We need it. Hopefully we get it. Tried to clean the, it is a pastel colored dragon. So we'll see how that goes. Trying to build it up, that one's very, very faintly blue. The person that I was looking at as reference was doing them with, to look like, oh wow, is that, oh no, that's a scale. To look like they're the art, what is her name? Tang. Sandara Tang, I think is correct. Her art is very, very cute. It turns out this art that was the inspiration for this game is actually the sketches for her final work. So I need to see what her final work looks like. But it's very, very cute. Okay, so I'm out of that blue. Time to mix some more. So this one I'm using the Griff Charger Gray. And I'm thinking this is going to be near the last coat, so I will probably go a little bit darker. I mean, you can just go crazy and do it. It looks to me like that's what they did, is they went with the colors. Because I feel like the color that is on this miniature is the one I'm using here, or similar to it. I think they used contrast paints as well. I mean, I did this mini for Jurassic World, and it was this color, and then I primed it the same kind of zenithal, and the underside is lighter, and I just built it up. It's very simple. This was quick. I actually went back in afterwards after I got most of the color, and then I went back and put dots of a darker color on it, and then went back with that color in more of a wash to blend them in. And it does a really good job. I mean, and that's a quick paint job. I did that in one sitting for on a stream. We were painting those when read MCH10 reply. Hi Lincoln, thanks for the gift sub last week. I rarely get to watch your streams live, so it was a nice surprise when I came to watch a VOD. Awesome. Thanks, Seth. You helped me out. Keep me honest here. After colonialism, North Rhodesia became Zambia. What country did Southern Rhodesia become? Ooh, that I will not know. Now it's in Florida. That's funny. St. Petersburg. Zambia. I don't know. I'll guess Botswana. I don't know though. That I really don't know. And I know some, there's some other historical geography stuff that I sort of know from Africa. There's been a lot of, because Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo was something else. And lots of evolution there. Now you can do this kind of technique with standard paints as well. The medium, there's lots of different mediums. As a matter of fact, I've been using lately this metallic medium. Now this is basically, it's not a clear obviously, but it's what they use to make other types of metallic. And I've been using it as a silver. I actually bought the metallic medium from Monument. It's a metallic medium here, and it's pretty pale as well. I'm pretty sure this will be white, but I'm intrigued to see. I mean, I always like making strange metallic colors or buying strange metallic colors. I have tons of stuff back in the day I would buy from one of the manufacturers, Polycryl. Is that right? No, Polyscale, which I don't think they're around anymore. Or they might be, but you know, it's not the type of hobby stores like that sell that are not around us anymore. And I would buy any of those crazy ones. Like they had one that looked like a chrome that had been heated up, and it made it rainbow color effect. It was actually quite a neat paint, and I don't know that I ever used it on much. I probably still have it somewhere. A lot of the acrylics still, they survive. It's crazy. I've really thinned this out quite a bit too, so may take another coat or two. Zimbabwe, 2 of 3. Ah. I thought that it couldn't be that one because it seemed too obvious. What do I know? I'm okay with international geography. The biggest issue is just, like, we have globes around the house that are old, and they have some of the other names of older names of countries and stuff. So, which one was Chad? I think it was Congo, then Chad. Now it's back to Congo or something. That may be complete. This is a person speaking out of ignorance because I do not remember. It's getting a little bolder, but it sure is. It's Building up. It's got to be some build up. I might need to even go darker. It's not focusing in. There we go. I want it to be more blue, right? This is a blue miniature, so I'm gonna have some. I got some work ahead of me. I think I just touched the bottom of that tail. So you end up having to go in and pull some of the color out sometimes. Like there's a lot settling in here, and you can avoid like the odd pooling if you do that. Now I'm not too worried about it because it'll look pretty good. You know, there's shadows and stuff there. Like here, there's a bit too much right there, but okay, keep touching that tail. I'm also trying to decide whether I want to paint the bases as a more straight color, the edge of the bases, so that it more clearly defines it. But I mean, these colors look different so far. If you look at the, this one's not blue enough in my opinion, but there's the red. Nope, not in shot. I mean, this is how you'll be seeing most of this stuff, is from above, or the edge, not straight on. The issue is I really want these two blues to be different. Right now they're kind of similar, these two here. But you can see all the colors, they're all very distinctly different. This will even be more green. That's what I'm going to paint now, some more green. I think I'm going to try to do just, let's look at it. I could just do another coat of the the green just to darken it up a little bit more. Ancient land of Mesopotamia encompassing the Tigris and Euphrates River is now located in present Iraq or Tunisia. Okay, I think I should make some color because that's probably getting tired. It turns to gel kind of as it sits. And you definitely have to varnish these when you're done. These paints, they are more delicate than standard acrylic paints. I've had a little bit of trouble with that, but I've been pretty good about varnishing them. Hey, thanks for the follow, Lucy8118. I'm painting the Flamecraft dragons. They're all kind of pastel colors, although I've made this yellow a pretty... I've gone a little bit bold, which is okay. I think that looks cute. I love their eyes. And the purple one, these two are closer to done. They're not done, though. I still have to do the bases and things like that, but they're turning out cute. Okay, let's see here. This is a much darker green. Let's go for the underside here and see what it looks like. Put it on the mini holder though. Be helpful. In Marco Polo's day, Cathay was the name for China, and Sidnigo was the name for what country? Huh. I knew Cathay. Darn it, I knew that one. Sidnigo. I don't think I've ever heard that one. Actually, why? No wonder I know Cathay. That the airline is called that. I don't know. Maybe India? You're not giving me multiple choice here, Seth. Probably be obvious though if we did that. Why are we doing your Mongolia, Turkey, and Japan? Oh, maybe Japan. That's funny. Why are we doing your homework? Hey, they're just trying to keep us entertained. Although it does feel like we're doing somebody's homework. Although they have the answers, so clearly it's not their homework. Or it's previous homework. So there's a little dot on the wing that is like somehow I splashed some on there, which is a bummer because I don't want it to be like that. So how do I resolve it? I don't know yet, because I mixed over that color that I had. If I'd caught it when I had done it, I probably could have cleaned it up, because it looks like it was done after I did that first coat. Interesting that they called Japan that. Signigo. Although I'm not pronouncing it correctly, I'm sure. Did anybody actually play any games on Christmas? We had hoped to do that, but the day did not go as we had hoped. Even though it was great and mellow, it was a little bit later start, so we didn't have as much time as we'd hoped. We thought we might have, because dinner, the ham that we had for dinner was took a little bit more time to get prepared, to get to temperature, and it's always more complicated to cook stuff. My mom did a lot of prep in advance, and so she came over and then just basically helped finish things. We had some of her, I didn't have any of her cookies till after she was gone. She brought a bunch of them over last week, but I was trying not to eat them, because if I really like some, they may not be any for anybody else. It was great. Boy, I feel like these songs are repeating. I made this playlist last week and I didn't spend a ton of time on it. But we used this, boy, it really feels like that's ended like that just already once. I guess that's just the way the song is, who knows, but it's got to be nearing finished. That looks cute though, it looks good, the colors are nice. I'm not sure why the music would repeat unless I actually add, I mean, it tells me when I've added something, it's on the playlist and I have to like force it through, so I don't know, but the playlist itself does not loop, which is a downer. You have to make it super long depending on how you're going. So it's 12. I still got some more time. I really want to get these done. Let's see, is this one getting there? It's pretty dry. Problem is I'm going to be humming this song later, and I don't even know if I like it. This sounds like restaurant music. That'd be funny if it just keeps looping. Should actually have another brush on hand here to assist with some of the blending that doesn't have any paint on it. So this actually has a lot of details. So there's like a metal collar, and then this metal cuff on the tail. She's like a princess dragon or something. I wonder if I like selected music from the same artist, and maybe these are some of these are multiple versions of the same song. That is definitely a possibility. Wow. I feel it's stuck. I think it's time to go into the other room. I'll be right back. Can't handle it anymore. There we go, something new. Let me get back to the camera though, so that I don't foul that up. Okay, there we go. Hopefully, I have no idea. I can't hear this one. This is also sort of new, but it was added to another playlist, so it thematically should sound similar to me anyway. It did. It could be. I don't even know how this software. I wish it had a randomizer. That would be fantastic, but it does not. I mean, what I should do is download the music, right? That'll do it. Yeah, elevator music, that is, sounds like Dark Oath Flesh for the Horns. I don't know if I have that. Okay. That looks pretty good. It's not focusing. It's a very softer, detailed one. And it gets, the paint changes, you know, as it dries too. This is cute though. I like that they're waving. Hello! So I'm going to try to, wow, see there's some missing red under the tail there. Not critical, but I will see that. So I kind of like a little bit of that yellow in there. It's a little less pink. So let me see about, well, let me put some more red on and see what it looks like first. All this music that we are getting this from is Epidemic. We license their stuff, and it's pretty good stuff. It's a lot, and to actually really spend some time looking into it all is time, which I just don't have. Candace was doing something recently, and she spent a bunch of time looking for stuff. I'm not sure what she plans to do with all of it, how she's going to use it. She had a finished video here that was going to use some of that. I need to go review the video. I'm sure the music's perfectly fine. I don't really worry about it too much. It's weird. Look at these these diamond kind of ones. I wonder if I should color those slightly different. I just might do that. Just touched it on me. It's a little wet there too, but that's what I want. Got that on the body, and I don't want that. But it ended up settling in there okay. I tried to get it out of there and then added a little bit more, and it looks fine. It's when it's wet that it looks odd. Okay, so here we go. We're putting a little bit of other color back onto here. Not quite yellow enough. I don't know that it'll really stick out since it's got a lot of red on it already. Oh yeah, it will. It'll change it a little bit, which is what I want. I don't really want to... They're lighter on the box art. although there's so many dragons in the game, this is not necessarily, they don't have to be anything like the box art. This is Iron Man dragon. Thought I put that yellow on there, but I don't think I did. Or I did and it didn't really take. I'm using a very faint yellow. Okay, that's looking pretty cute. Some of the other details will help pop that stuff out. Okay, some purple or blue with that. Let's see what I get if I do that. A bunch of red got in there when I was doing that edge of the mouth. So it'll be fine. Gotta pick those teeth out with a little bit of brighter white probably. Not focusing. Beta waves. This music is real mellow here. It's a little bit more exciting than the other one though. See, it's like it's spread on there too, which I'll have to paint with some gray before I put the brown over it. It'll be okay though. I just love that they're waving. Hello! Okay, back to this one. This one really needs, oops, bonking on the head. This one needs something for the scales. It needs to be bluer. Huh, harumph I say. Well, I will mix the two colors maybe. I have lots of blues, lots of blue, but I don't know about them. Haha, this one's Croxagore Scales. That seems like something I should use, but I don't think I'll use that one. Here we go, we're into something that sounds a little bit more track-oriented. So what I think I'm going to do here is not paint these little knobs. I don't know if you can see them here. Focus, hand. I like that they're going to, so I'm going to try to put a different color, more intense blue on it. Goodness, what do I use though? I have all the blues. Kellyan blue, that's Kellyan green. I like that one. I think I used that for something. Might have been this, I think it was. I don't want to use it on the webbing of the fin and the wings. Well, then that may maybe mean I will do something here with like a darker green, since that is like a different green. Okay, what with blue? Griff Charger Gray, I could just make it more intense. It is kind of it's a blue-gray though. It just needs to be a different pond, you know? I mean, it doesn't have to be that blue that's underneath it, for sure. Still not that strong. So now I splashed a bunch over here on this antler, or this horn. Okay, well. Something you could do also is just use some contrast medium to actually do some blending between these shades of color here. Better clean that brush off. It's got red in it from blending. And I could get that on what I'm working on. Yeah, clean it with the brush cleaner. Got a little dry. So now you're starting to see a difference in color there. The horns are a white. You know, the grayscale that I did, and the wings. I'm going to do them a different color, I think. I'm trying to decide what, but maybe a purple. Although they make it the inverse of this one, sort of, but not really. But yeah, it's starting to shift the color. You can see it's building it up more. Let that dry, see what it does. Very cool. And drop it on its head. Okay. I do need to work on the antlers on these two. So I am now going to a different color. Put this mantis green back and go with this orc flesh, I think, to do some spot details on some of the, but I'm going to thin it as well. It's a different green. It was what I used for Hulk. You can see here it's a deeper green. Well, the other one's pretty green. You know, it's got more yellow in it maybe. Oh, wait, you know, I didn't stir that up at all. I'm kind of nervous about this one though, because I don't want the leaves to become too, maybe I just do another bit. Let's do another coat. I want it to be a darker green though. It is related to the other parts as well. So I'm going to try and go for that and make it a thin coat of another color to see what it does. Probably destroy it. You never know. I'm going to very tiny amount of it here though, because I do not want to have too much of it. It is not going to be, and you know, it's not that hard to recreate it again. It is a different green now. More blue. So let's see what we get. oof, I don't know. It's a different color. That's what I want though, so let's see if we can make it work. Did not mix a lot. I was saying I didn't really want too much of it, but I want some of the green, other green to stick out there, so the previous green. So I don't want to over apply it. Focus. So you can see the other color settling in there. It almost looks like the one that I'm adding on. So maybe I'm just accelerating that transition or whatever. So I always try to work a little bit into the edges here so that it doesn't, you know, first of all, the color actually spreads to the edge of the leaf, but it also goes a little bit into the other color on this little edge. It's what inking does to, and it's essentially what's going on here. They have actually stuff that is called shades that is more specifically trying to do that. Although I feel you need to thin those as well. And there is, I believe, a medium for that that they sell out there. I don't think I've ever bought that. I don't remember what it was called. And it, you know, I think mediums can be pretty effective. I think I saw a video, I know I saw a video not too long ago that somebody compared the different mediums to see how effective they were on YouTube. I wish I could recall who did that because it was great. So maybe what I'm going to do here is once this dries, I might do a yellow on a reddish yellow. Ooh, could be bad though, but we'll see, on the webbing of the wings. Okay. That isn't too bad. It's a different color for sure. I mean, you know, it's green, but it's a different shade of green. What time is it? It's 12:42. Well, I would have been quitting by now if we were filming, but since we will not be, right now anyway, I will go a little bit further here. Really like to get further along on this one. This one is not quite as going as I'd hoped. It's very, very subtle. So what I think I will do, I don't remember who did this, I would like to know. I said it earlier. Indie something or other. Indie 32. They had like a purple in there as well, and I think I'm going to go for something like that. I really like how they did theirs too. It's kind of loose, and I don't know that so you have some of the other color coming through. But I think I want to have a little bit of that too, because it'll make it look, maybe tie it together a little more. Boy, they really did a great job on the eyes too. Goodness. Okay, well, let's see if I have a good purple for this. I want it to be very blue purple though. There's I have no idea what Shyish purple is. This is so, I don't know. Almost feel like it's that Luxian purple again, and I don't want to do that one. This is the color I used here. And I love the color, but it's not, it'll be too close. So maybe I don't go for this Magos purple and see what that gives me. Remember, this is a blue mini, so, I mean, not that it really matters, but maybe if I just do the faintest color of purple on it, it'll help. help. So yeah, this is a darker purple. It's more red, but I'll give it a shot. That's all about experimentation anyway. There we go. Oh, I really don't. I want the smallest amount of this purple. Okay. And now a bunch of contrast medium. That's a red. I don't know. Well, I got a tiny bit of it here. We can try it out. It's almost too small of amount. But barely anything, so we'll go with it. There's a little bit of purple in there. And maybe I'll use that as a darker purple for the webbing of the wings. think that is what I will do. So there you go. It's looking pretty good there. I'm getting quiet thinking here. I mean, I want it to be a subtle amount. It's kind of making it sort of iridescent. We'll see what it looks like when it dries. I don't think it'll look quite that iridescent, but I mean, I could do that. I could actually put a metallic medium, thinned out metallic medium on this when it's done to see what that might do. That kind of sounds right for this one. Okay, so I still need that. I definitely want that purple, but more of it. Can you show the colors you used to the camera? Certainly. So the main color for this body was this blue. It's the Briar Queen Chill. So it's this mini here. I think this is the Briar Queen. And you can see it's sort of that color too, but I didn't paint that with this. I painted it with the Night Haunt Gloom, I think. And then for the purple I used on this one, this is Magos Purple. It's going to be a little bit, I'm going to use it on the wings here, so it's a little bolder. I may build it up though. I'm always afraid of going too crazy with a darker color when it's like a subtle miniature like this one. And I might use one of these. I have this metal medium that I might put in it a very thin amount. This is from Vallejo, to make the scales more iridescent. We'll see how that goes. So there's a company called TurboDork that makes these fantastic colors, and I talked about them last week, which would be awesome for some of the wings of these dragons. I just don't know the colors. I can't imagine that the little samples that they have painted on the paint racks are even close to what they're going to be. This looks like a berry color here. So I'll definitely build this up. And maybe put a little bit of iridescent on this one too. Yeah, the contrast paints are nice, but they're a little steep. But they also last a long time. I bought a big chunk of these colors in 2019, summer 2019, and of the first batch that I got, and I have not used up any of them. I sort of used up the yellow that I was using earlier, which is this color here, Ironed Yellow. But I spilled it, so I didn't really use it up. I spilled it, and thankfully that bottle actually worked. The other bottle that I spilled that did not work is the Basilicanum Gray, which is one of my favorite colors. It's just a gray, but it's very versatile. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to once it's spilled. Somehow some of the pigment, so I think it's a mixture of pigments that help do these contrast paints, give them the dimensionality that they're trying to go for. Ooh, that's a lot on that body there, so I need to wick that up. Now it's okay because I've been using a version of that, a thinner version of it on the body itself. Now you're supposed to apply these very heavily, but when I'm trying not to blend them together on the miniature, I will thin it out. I will put a less thick coat on it. I think that actually looks pretty good though. I'll go a little bit stronger on that. So what I will do is, well, I'm not ready for that yet. Let's let this one dry. But yeah, I would really like to try some of the Turbo Dark paints. I don't have any of them. I saw them at Common Ground as well. I was very excited to see them out at the store that we go to occasionally. They did not have the other colors I wanted, but they did have that stuff. So there you go. That's drying on there a little bit. Looks a little different. Now I said I was going to build that up, so I will build it up a little bit more. Although I've almost used up all the paint that I had mixed for it, so. But I said yellow, so let's do that now, because I have the yellow I want. Let's see what we get here, if it's terrible or not. Now this is that ironed in yellow I told you, just showed you a moment ago. No, this will work. There's some fibers here though. It's kind of an orangey yellow. So there's still some wet green there. It's so dark underneath, I don't know that it'll make any difference, but I'll put it on there anyway. That actually kind of works. I mean, it is a yellow and a green. It's not like they're on the other sides of the spectrum. I mean, you need yellow in green, but they look kind of good together. That little bit of orange is cool. Looks like I got some on the scales. Just wick it up. So the antlers on this are very interesting looking. I think the ones they did were brown. I'm not going to do them that intense, but I am going to use wildwood. So wildwood was what I used for these. This is the tree. I mean, they're not trees. They're like trees. These are, gosh, I can never remember the name of these. Though I really love them. I think I painted all the ones that I have, and I think I still have Scots. I think. Or maybe I haven't done those yet. What color are those? I think I already did those for Scott. Or he didn't. No, he bought them. He bought all of that stuff. Wow, this brown is very dark. So it is going to be just a tiny bit of that. And then, wow, I didn't really stir that up. Shoot. Don't use it not stirred. Okay, let me clean that off the palette so that I don't use that paint. It's not terrible, but the problem is you know, if you're missing some of the pigment that's supposed to be for that color, it won't look right. Now I am going to thin it out with well, I'm actually going to use two colors, so I will use some of this, and I probably use some of the Gorgrunta fur. So this is Wildwood. It is one of my favorite colors that they have out of the first run. It's a really neat color, versatile. And then this Gorgrunta fur, which is what I use for most every brown. It's a warmer color, although it doesn't look that different in the pot right now. I didn't shake that up either. You can see it's kind of got some red in it, more red. The other one's darker. Maybe the other one's kind of an umber, deep umber, burnt umber. Nah, I don't know if that's right. I've used a lot of this, so this I'm about halfway through that bottle, but I have used it a lot. So now that's a lot of the color. Let me just put a tiny bit of it on and see if it's too dark. Nope. I think that's what I want to go for. I want them to be kind of like wood. This brush might not be fine enough for what I'm doing here. I'm going to use the double lot brush, because I don't want to get it on the other colors. Yipes. So what I do is I usually hook my wrists together, but this is very difficult for me to get at, so I do a hybrid wrist buckling. I do steady my hand on my own hand, so they tend to move or shake together. So these are those two colors mixed together, and the one is very dark and the other one is very kind of brownish red, so they look pretty good. I did the tree bark on this bird. I'll show you that similar kind of a process, although that was layered, where I started with the darker one, and I think I used it straight, so it was very dark, and then put this lighter color on it, and then I dry brushed it, and then actually I dry brushed the brown, the darker brown, then put this lighter color over it, the Gorgrunta fur, and it gave me a pretty cool result as far as for wood bark. And maybe I'll do something similar here, I don't know, even though I'm doing the colors at the same time combined. So these actually these paints look really great on like organic surfaces like this. I mean, in the scales. It's where you start to, when you're doing lots of smooth surfaces, that it becomes a challenge. And you know, their faces are very smooth on these minis, and it's kind of, it can be splotchy. Hey Tallyfoo, thanks for the follow. I'm working on the Flamecraft minis, and I really like them. I think they're cute. I'm getting close to being done for the day, but I wanted to try to be all, I mean, I may still work on them. I'm just very, very hungry. I may try to finish them today, though, if there's a chance that we can film with them tonight. I mean, we're not going to shoot this game until the minis are painted, so we may not do it. But I would like to get them done. Boy, that green is taking forever to dry underneath here in the wing. I mean, contrast paints actually take longer to dry, but not so much here in Southern California. Okay, let me do a little bit of blending like I did on that one Games Workshop thing I was showing a moment ago. I want to put a little bit of the green into the brown. It's not really going to be very visible, but I like to do that. Okay, that looks pretty good. I may dry brush it, but it seems to be settling. Boy, I can really see them. I tried to clean the mold lines. I was starting to say this earlier, and I'm just, once they get painted, you really see how much you didn't do. And that yellow looks pretty good on those wings. You put a little bit more on it using the brush. Boy, I don't know which brush is brush here, which is which. They both seem they're getting tired. Time to change to a new one, I think, soon. Let's just do that now. This is a new one of those brushes. Boy, that's a bummer. I'm really going through them kind of quickly. I am painting a lot more though, so maybe I should ease off here on myself. I don't have a lot of this yellow left. Only going to put it on the top because that's only where you're going to really see it. I've already put it underneath, but it's not focusing here. There we go. Okay. So here's the one that I was talking about, the bark that I painted, this tree that I painted. And this was, oops, not on camera. This is the wildwood, and then dry brushed white over that, and then put the brown, the Gorgrunta fur over it. And I think that looks pretty good. It's dimensionally interesting and kind of looks like tree bark. This is not going to be as easy to do. It's a tiny little antler. But it already looks pretty great. I don't know. I might actually, instead of going lighter, I might put some darker at the very end of it to just make them look, I mean, because you know, it's like new antlers to old antlers. I'm not even sure how that all really looks in real life. But that's a cute guy there. Okay. So this one's dry. Again, that's actually moving pretty quick. Let me put some more purple on those wings though. Really should put it on the base, holder. Thanks, NPC Aaron. Your hand tremor? Oh, Aaron, that sucks. I mean, I think we're all starting. I might, you know, I'm getting up in there, and it seems like what I do is I definitely hold my hands together and do it better than. I would normally do just, whoa. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and put a tiny bit of metallic medium. I will do this on the palette, it's okay, on the wet palette. But I'm going to use the one that I have, not the new one. I'm going to use the Vallejo metallic medium, and I'm going to thin it with contrast medium. And wow, it really is blending off those wings. I put a lot on there, so. Okay. It's like a weird amount of like stuff sticking around, like purple sediment. I'm wondering if there's something inside that paint. I don't think so, though. I mean, well, I haven't used this one for a little while. I used it, I think, on Thanos' skin, maybe, when I was doing that Marvel United. Okay, so I will use a very, very thin amount. I just want it to give it, I mean, you can see there's purple in the scales there. So I want just a tiny bit of iridescent quality to it, and I think using this metallic medium will probably do that. Very, very iridescent on the palette, looks that way, but I'm going to thin it out quite a bit. Wow, this is split too on the top. I must be over tightening these things. I don't know that I can use the same bottle top though. But yeah, I have these ones that I used, this bottle that I bought here, and the top split on the ones that I use for primer, because I actually, when I'm airbrushing, I use that and have small amounts of it, not small amounts, but smaller amounts than the big bottles of, this is a small version of the primers that I have from Badger, Steinel Res. Small bottle, I have a bigger bottle, and it's too difficult when I'm painting minis to like be dealing with that cumbersome bottle as I run out, and I just make a mess. So I put them in those little dropper bottles, and it gives me the ability to just add a few drops without making too much of a mess. And so I was I was refilling them yesterday when I primed these minis, and I saw that the white bottle, I had split the top on the other two bottles, the gray and the black, and I saw the white one was doing it too. I'm like, oh man, I think I'm over tightening them. But the bad thing was on this metallic medium, that's one that should be a better one than the ones I bought. I think I bought them on eBay. So my goal is to not affect the color, just give it an iridescent quality, and it looks like it's going to do that on the scales. I don't think I'll put it on the wings. I was thinking about putting it on the wings, but I don't think I will. I think I want the scales to have the iridescent quality. And maybe do another wash of the purple over it when I'm done. Again, this is supposed to be a blue miniature, but it really doesn't matter. As long as you have, it looks different than the other ones, you should be fine. That looks pretty neat. And I like how subtle the wings are too. It looks very nice. Now, do I do these? I guess I will do them in gold. These look like they did them in gems on this, as gems on the little the diamond shapes. I'm not sure whether I'll go for that or not. That looks good though. I mean, it is very strong. It is like I'm painting a metallic paint over it, but I think if I put another bit of wash on top of that, of the purple, it'll give it the right kind of color I'm going for there. Or the blue. I don't know, since I got lots of the pink, purple on there. Now, what am I going to do for these antlers, though? So, if I'm going to paint the gold, let me start with that. I have to decide now. I actually have more than one of the golds. I have that bright gold, isn't it? I'm going to go with the rich gold again. I do like that color. It is very reminiscent, at least from memory, of the color that I used to love from GW Citadel, called Shining Gold, which was really one of my favorite colors back in the day. And I used it all the time. It's not the same though. It's close-ish. Boy, I always over-apply this stuff on the palette. I am not going to put any medium in this. Here is an old Shining Gold mini that I painted. And I'm not even sure. That looks similar. I mean, that was 20 years ago that paint. I mean, I don't know how long ago it stuck around. They actually changed their color palette by name. But not necessarily. Well, and then they changed the colors. One of the colors of my favorite was Tin Bits, and they have it available now. It's called Warplock Bronze. I think that's like Tin Bits was. They wanted to go for names that, although Tin Bits you think is their name, but maybe they didn't copyright it. From my memory, though, those paints went on so smooth and thin. I don't know if that's actually accurate, because I haven't used those paints forever. I did have some mithril silver left over that from years. It was a bottle that was still sealed, and it was amazingly still moist and seemed correct, but I don't know. And it was a little thicker, so probably just over time it had thickened. So what I plan to do is probably wash these after I've painted them, and then go back over it with a little bit of highlight of the gold to brighten it back up. The wash will give it some shading. I've not used any wash. I mean, essentially I'm using washes all over the place, but I have not used any wash over the dragon scales or anything like that. I have so much gold on the palette. It's what I don't like about these bottles, the twist top dropper bottles from Monument. I painted when I used it for the Warhammer Quest minis, and so I just worked ahead. I mean, that's what you really should be doing anyway, is working on multiple, if you can, once you get smooth enough with it, so that you're using the paint across multiple miniatures, while you're waiting for, and you know, that's what I was doing today, where I'm trying to, not using the paint, but while waiting for one thing to dry, work on another thing, and that's one of the benefits of working on multiples at once. You can get a lot of stuff done. I think the sculpts on these are great, but some of the join, you can see that they've put these together from multiple pieces, which you have to, because they're strange. The poses are dynamic, so they can't really you can't mold them like that. You have to glue it together. And so some of them the gaps are stronger than others, and that's a bummer, but it's the nature. I mean, even when I put them together myself, I get those gaps, and you're just, oh, well, there you go. You can fill them, and I don't mind doing that sometimes. But as I said many times, I'm not entering these in any kind of competition, so I'm not worried about it that much. I wish it was like competition level. Maniac had a video this week on YouTube where he went and painted for a weekend with Vincent Venturella. And Vincent is amazing. He does a lot of great work, and I did not know that he paints 40 to 60 hours a week, or works on his hobby 40, 60 hours a week. I don't have that kind of openness in my schedule to do that, and I don't know that it would be fun for. Oh, I got gold on the wing. Bummer. Or on its little bit here. Let me see if I can get it off. Yeah, it's coming off. So you can see how strong the gold is, right? I'm gonna bring it down a little bit with the wash. It's one of the things one of the reasons. I mean, I love metallics, but it's one of the reasons why I don't love them, is they tend to be just so bold. So, and you can use some more subtle ones of the colors. There's is this white gold? No, light bronze. This is bright gold. And then I have this white gold. But they all still pop a lot. And I actually like this rich color a lot. So to bring it down, I'll put a wash over it. And the wash I use for this, you can use the GW ones, but I've just for years been using the ones from Army Painter. Strong Tone is the one I use the most, and that's what I'll use on the on the gold, and I did on the armor for the Stormcast Eternals, or whatever they're called here. This one here was very washed, like super bright, and then I went and put the wash on it, and then it became dull, and then I come back over it with gold to highlight points so that it makes it look a little bit more interesting and less intense. Out of focus. Too much on this tail here. Just making sure I've got it relatively covered here. most of it that isn't really covered well is not going to be visible anyway. There we go. Okay, while that dries, which should be pretty quickly, I will put another wash of this purple. I think I'm going to just do the purple. Well, let me see. I got a lot of the blue. Let's do it first. I don't know which brush is new. I don't think it's this one. I think it's that one. Although it doesn't look great. Yeah, it's got no hook. Okay. So here's the blue. Let's see what happens when we put the blue on it. Just want to knock down the iridescence a little bit. And probably blue's the better choice since it is a blue miniature and I don't want it to be too purple. What's fun about this is it's not color schemes I would normally work with, but I like it for whatever reason. I think of this as like a princess dragon. Okay, well, still strong there. We'll see what it looks like when it dries, because of the wetness of giving it a sheen. Got a little bit on its tail of the gold. I thought I got it off, but I did not. See if I could scrape it off very gently and not get down to the blue. I think I did it. Is it raining? I mean, it should be. Oh, Nikki says it's begun to rain. Okay, well there you go, finally. We need it. Need a lot more than we're going to get today. I used to work for a guy who said he believed the song when he came to the United States. There's an old song, which I don't even think I really know, called, not in the United States, but English, U.S., from a U.S. performer called It Never Rains in Southern California. And he was sad when he got here and it actually rained. Like, oh, what are we supposed to do? We need water. It was pretty funny. Okay. Well, what do I work on? Really put a lot of effort on that one. That's pretty great. So these two are getting close. That looks cute. I mean, I kind of think I want to do a little bit darker. It's not focusing. I'm going to do a little bit darker on the antlers, the very tips. Go the opposite direction that I did with the other one, which was make them lighter. Those little short ones, I say no. Those are new. Or they've broken off, I don't know. Can't see it. I did on this, I'll show you in a second, the, gosh darn it, I can't remember the name of them, and I really would like to remember the name of them. It's got some brown somewhere, and I don't know, I need to find it. Oh, it's on that. Boy, that dried fast. Put a little bit of green on that to cover that up. Well, won't really cover it up. Okay, so on this, I actually did some wet blending type stuff with this where I started with the darker brown and then went into this, to that orange that I like here. This was the thinned out version of the Iron Yellow. So that it had a transition here. And then I did the same thing on these, where I was the brown, then to the Plague Bearer flesh that I used on here, and then I used some sort of green, probably Warp Lightning, for the leaves. And I just did that while it was wet, so you can just blend them together so it gives you a cool transition. And it is pretty helpful. You know, the fluidity of the contrast paints actually helps with that, especially if you're new to this kind of stuff. I'm not a good wet blender. I've never, I mean, I am okay. I think I was talking about last week that I had a friend that was really good, and we just, once he, like, his technique got good again, I think he had done it when he was younger, but I never really got to pick his brain on how to do it. And I, as I was saying, there's plenty of videos out there, and I should watch one and see. Okay, I think that will be good enough for that. Let's see what time is it. It is 1:30. I think that is time for me to quit. Ugh, crud. I got an Apple update here. There we go. So I think that's going to be it for this week. I hope to be, I'm going to try to work on these and be done with them for tonight, but I don't know that I'll make it. I'm close. These two here that I was working on are close. You know, this one looks pretty good. And let's see if it won't focus though. I'm already focused, so. It looks good though. The blue looks more iridescent there. Still not dry though. And then I'm going to do the wash on the gold. And then the green one, the kind of green man one, is pretty close. It's the other two. The red one is a little close. The little red dragon's pretty close. And the antlers and the teeth and the eyes might just finish it up. And then this one here looks pretty good. I need to do the teeth, the antlers, the little gold. Hey, no, there's some gold there. I should do that. But I'll do that a little bit later. Okay, well, let's see who's out there to raid. I think we're a little late for Rado if he's doing that. He is doing it. We will go to Rado. Rado is going to probably be, he does seem to be talking to the folks once we raid, but you know, he's trying to do a segment that is, that they use later. So they'll do some talking and they'll probably chat with the audience when they're all done. So let's see, if you want to join in, click that you will. I'm going to start the raid. It's Rado and Ruel. And we're going to be back on Thursday, so we'll be streaming. I'm not sure we're going to stream on Thursday, but then we're also going to be doing New Year's. So if you guys can join us, that'd be great. I'll talk to you later. Have fun and say hello to Rado and Ruel for me. Bye, everybody.